TikTok, YouTube, whoever's watching, wherever you're watching. I post a lot all over the place. So hit that like button, hit the follow button, hit the sub button, do whatever you got to do. But this is going to be the Apex Legends Aftermarket event patch notes, and I promise you're going to want to see it. First up, we're just going to hit the Legends. Rampart, her Sheila, has now increased the rate at which the bullet spread tightens, so that'll be good. She needed a buff. Update on Bloodhound. Let me use this so you guys don't get too ahead of me. Update on Bloodhound. Bloodhound's tactical cooldown while ultimate is active from 6 to 8 seconds. So he's got a little bit of a nerf. Little nerf. Small nerf. Pathfinder mains. Here you go. Grapple cooldown is now based on the distance Pathfinder traveled. So the shortest possible pull is 10 seconds. The maximum cooldown is still 35. But you're going to have to swing a very long distance to get to the 35. So bad Pathfinders don't have to worry about their face plant grapples as much because it'll be a 10-second cooldown. And if you're really good at Pathfinder and you can, like, you know, do your grapples well, you may have a 35-second. Or actually, if you're really good at it, you can kind of control how long it's going to last. So my good Pathfinder mains, rejoice. You've got your Pathy back, bros. You've got your Pathy back. This is the big one. Wraith. Wraith just got a huge freaking nerf. So they changed her sprint animation, and according to the devs, this patch we're introducing a new set of sprint animations for Wraith. These are much more upright and expose a larger area of her body to gunfire. So she actually will probably not have the smallest hitbox in the game. I mean, technically she will, but part of the beauty of Wraith was when you ran, it cut your hitbox in half. If she doesn't do that anymore, there's not a reason to play her just for her hitbox, because Lifeline and Octane are both going to be about the same size. Now, we know her old sprint was iconic. We hate to see it go as well, but we believe that this is the best way by far bringing her in line without having to hit her abilities again. Depending on what we see after these animations goes live, we may be able to put some power back into her abilities. No promises, though. So Wraith mains, rip. Although Wraith is still going to be ridiculously powerful, let's just be real. Crypto's drone can now open loot vaults if Crypto has a key in his inventory. That's cool. And Loba has increased range on her ultimate and passive. Loba's still going to be garbage. And she starts with it half charged. Yeah, she's still bad. Sorry, guys. Increased hip fire spread on the Devotion. So the hip fire spread increase on the Devotion is also being applied to Spitfire. So rip the Spitfire's hip fire, and Triple Take's fire rate got reduced. So Triple Take got a little bit of a buff as if it wasn't overpowered already. Quality of life, this is a big one. You can now see how much damage on an Evo shield before it evolves. So if yours is, like, if you have one that has 100 until it evolves and you see one that has 20, you can swap it out real quick so you can get your Evo evolved faster. So that's a huge, huge bonus. Huge, huge change. Great thing. Huge quality of life buff. Performance delay is a new option that activates a panel that appears in the top right corner, so you can see your frames per second, your latency, your loss of packet. Choke indicates the percentage of packet data congestion, and in and out, the amount of data being sent from and to the server. So that's another quality of life thing that's really good. I like that. And this is what it's going to look like in game. We like it. We like it. Anonymous mode has been added, so for all you streamers out there, you can kind of anonymize where you're at. So maybe you won't get stream sniped as much, although let's be honest, you're still going to get stream sniped. Level 0 Evo armor will now appear as empty in the inventory, so you can ping to request for armor. That's interesting. There are more banners placed around World's Edge to better support Crypto's abilities to see nearby squads in his drone. Nice. Out of bounds, the out of bounds timer will no longer refresh. Each time you enter a new out of bounds area, the timer is now a fixed amount of 30 seconds. If you enter a new out of bounds area, the time will steadily decrease. However, if you have 5 seconds less, the timer will keep refreshing at the 5-second mark. Okay, I like that. That's good. Random favorite select for music and loading screen. Nice. Hollow Spray will now remember which player liked him and will display a count to the owner. This also prevents players from spamming like on the Hollow Spray. Okay, cool. Legend tokens have been minimized to a tooltip in the lobby. Hover over your currency to see your amount. Okay, I don't care. Okay, yeah, that's it.
That other people see, making her much harder to hit. So that seems pretty straightforward. We know that people love her current run, a sprint animation. You know, the one I'm talking about, the Naruto sprint. It's a lot of character, it's a lot of recognizability, where you can tell from a distance that it's a Wraith. So This was not a decision we came to easily, but we've been playtesting with it internally for a while and playtesting well. So we have replaced the sprint animations with animations where she's much more upright and not hiding as much of a shootable area. So I know you all will have feedback for us, and we will be listening. Speaking of which, is Pathfinder, who semi-recently had a pretty large nerf to his tactical. We increased the cooldown from 15 to 35 seconds, which we heard you Pathfinder mains. That was very, very frustrating. You feel like you could barely ever grapple anymore. And Pathfinder is a very similar situation. So I was a little bit reductive earlier. It's not just Wraith up here. It's like Wraith up here, Pathfinder here, then everybody else in the group down there. So those two have historically been very powerful in our game. For Pathfinder, we saw a very similar thing with the 15 to 35 second grapple change, where he did drop down meaningfully in pick rate and win rate, and over the course of, I think it's 5 or 6 weeks, basically came up to exactly where he was before, which tells us that that change did not hit its goal. We don't want to just revert back to the 15-second change, because we do think that there are other things that are important about that change that are good for the game. But we saw a suggestion on Reddit, actually, that we liked quite a lot, which is to make the cooldown of Pathfinder's grapple scale with how much distance he actually traveled. So if you get the super long slingshot around the lamppost downhill slide, yes, you're still going to have a 35-second cooldown. But if you are bad like me and just face plant into a wall, or if you are maybe very, very smart and you find those valuable short distance grapples, you can now have as short as a 10-second cooldown. Smooth. You can actually see it as you grapple. The cooldown, you could literally visually see an element go down and the cooldown tick up as you're traveling. But most of the time, yeah, you will have a variable cooldown somewhere, realistically speaking, in the 15 to 28, 30-second range. That seems to be what I usually get in playtests now.